Yes,
hear
I
me?
am. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Greg.
Yes, I am.
Thank
Thanks.
you. So how is your team formation is ongoing? While others are joining, let's get started on that.
Okay, so the team formation is going pretty good. I set up a channel for the team members to introduce themselves, their names, their domain experience, their interests. So that was what we talked about in our chats. That was, I think, I set up that chat on Wednesday. So we've introduced ourselves. So I was waiting so that we can discuss more and go through the next steps.
Perfect. And how many team members are there in your team?
Okay, just give me a minute. I think we are 6 in numbers,
Okay,
six
that's
or
good.
7. Yep.
That shows your leadership skill, Greg.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks.
what you're doing is not easy. I know I have done this many times.
Yeah.
So not at all easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is their name is already here?
Yeah. Yeah. I can call their names.
Okay.
Or, or do you want me to include in the chat group?
No. Because there will be a lot of teams like that in the process we will form, right? I'll leave the
Okay.
independence to you guys. See, this is, I wanted you all to learn, right? First of
Yep.
all, forming the team itself is not a small task.
Yep.
Okay. You have already done that with 6 members. It's quite amazing. I would be interested to know their names and their, the skill sets at a very high level, right? You can kind of share that with us.
Okay. Not everyone has introduced themselves, but I'll start. I introduce myself first. My name Greg. Then
Mhm.
my IT interests. I'm interested in QA, test automation, and cloud technology. But currently, where I've experienced my domain experience is business intelligence and test automation. So
Business intelligence
that's
is
where, yeah. So that's where I work. That's my space. So I also have Elizabeth. Elizabeth, she's interested in data analytics.
I don't see
So
Elizabeth's name recorded in this, right?
no, but she's part of the member. She was one of those I
Hello,
reached out to.
Her name was there in the previous sheet, Kader.
I'm here.
I'm looking at it there.
Before there,
Elizabeth,
she
Yep.
skill
yes.
Yes.
analysis learn milestone.
Yep.
2 projects. Okay. The projects we can always decide after. But this is good.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, Ember.
Yeah. Elizabeth, she's a beginner. She wants to learn,
Mhm.
and we're going to see how we can accommodate that. So I
Okay.
also have Sagar. Sagar, the interest is in data analytics, AI, and machine learning. The
Okay.
domain experience is in databases, SQL, sciences, and communication. Yep. So I that's a girl.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I also have Sarika. So
Okay.
the interest is in test automation and API. Domain
Okay.
experience is in test automation.
Okay.
Then I have Ashfaq. Sorry if I'm not getting that right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. IT interest is in software development, QA, test automation, Internet of Things, and domain experience is in telecommunication, telecom testing, embedded hardware and software R&D. So these are the ones that have introduced themselves so far. But I still have other members, like Adele. I have
Okay.
Adele as part of the team. I
Okay.
also have Kapil. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's all of us. I think we're 7 number, all of us in the group.
Yeah. So maybe, I think it's difficult for me to write down here, but I think you can form your own team and you can create your own team structure. So I wanted you to think like you are a CEO of this company, right?
Yep.
This is what we are learning together. What's not important is you have to be an expert of something, but we can become experts, right? So that's what we are going to do. So you have to start thinking as if you're the CEO of your company, and then you need to start building your own team, right? The people who are coming now, and maybe from people from outside, you can inspire to come in. Or after we settle down, after a couple of months, we will also do a little bit additional marketing to get more people into this program. So that time you can form, right? So, but end of the day, the point is, Greg, you need to form a team. Think that you are like a CEO, right? And you're building your own company, and that's the kind of an experience I wanted you and the your team members to experience together.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good. 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 This is good. So, Greg, I get a good picture here. Now, let me look at our next lead, whom we have. Finn, are you there in the call?
Hi, I'm here.
So, are you able to build your team?
Yes, my team is made up of 4 people, including myself. I have Gautami Satish. His skills are in software testing, SQL, agile testing methodologies, Selenium automation with Java, and data analytics.
Okay.
Also, I have Hetal Balda. He's an automation tester. He writes test scripts and test artifacts, and also has skills in several scripting languages. And
Okay.
the third person is Ashwin Chaurashia. I'm sorry, guys, if I didn't get your name properly. He's into infrastructure, managed servers. He's into IT consulting and business analysis. So these 3 guys, including myself, we make 4 in the team, and I'm open to having more people to join my team if possible. If anybody doesn't have a team yet, you can contact me if you want to join my team.
This is great. And please, those who are interested to join Fian team, please reach out to him through the channel, the test project channel that we have. This is good, Finn. So, what is your experience?
My experience is in cloud architecture, solutions architecture, and requirements gathering. I have knowledge in project management and cloud architecture and solutions gathering, and also automation. So those are basically my experience, because my core background is in engineering, but I also have skills in solutions architecture, cloud architecture, and also requirements gathering, Scrum Master, and so on.
Wow, this is a good experience. Like I was telling the same thing to Greg, right? So forming the team, it's the first hurdle, right? And you need to continue. See, the first hurdle is the forming the first team. And then the second hurdle is trying to keep your team engaged and energized. And then the third hurdle is continue to build a team to do what you wanted to do, right? And this doesn't come just like that, right? You have to experience this throughout the process of this Testoper project program this whole year, and you will learn a lot. So I also wanted you to think like, okay, you are the CEO of that company, and then whatever that you're trying to put together, you are the CEO of that company, and you're bringing all the people together. So you all together as a management, as a team, building a company, right? So that's the kind of a feeling that I wanted you to have, every one of you and you in your team, to really come together and move forward. This is really good. And from the governance point of view, what I would suggest is you can reach out to the operations team. So the Testoper operations volunteers that we have are Shad, Shaad, and Mickey, Micky, right? You can reach out to them and you can ask them to create for you a dedicated channel, right? When I say dedicated channel, this is what I mean, right? this channel. You can come up with some name, whatever the name that you like for your company. Again, it's your own innovation, right? Think about what your company name you want to give, and tell the name to Shad or Mickey in the chat, right? The general chat here. Then they will form those two new channels, and you all can collaborate inside the channel, create files or whatever that you wanted to do, you can do within that channel. That's the first thing. Okay. And now let's look at the third leader here, Sandra. Sandra, have you joined?
Hi, Kader. Hi, everyone.
Hello. How is your team building going on?
Well, I started the week with 4 members in my team, but 2 of them decided to join another team because of the module characteristics. So I am with another person who is Kenneth, which is a developer. And I don't know if you are going to reorganize the teams because of the number of people within my team.
Okay, I still see some of the names here like Gautami, Partha, he's not part of the team. So there are still people here in this, at least even today in our session, are not part of the team. And I also don't see Mukit is part of any team, right? So I think this is an exercise I wanted to give you, right, Sandra? I can reorganize the team, but the idea is not me doing it, right? The idea is getting you all to do and learn from it. So what I would suggest is I can sincerely recommend those who are not part of any of the team, reach out to Sandra and one of the 3 leads, right? To start with, we have identified 3 leads. So reach out to those 3 leads and join their respective teams. And let's look at how the team is formed next in our next session. But let me tell this, right? First of all, you all 3 as a leader. Yeah. Sorry, is someone saying something? Okay. So first of all, Sandra, Greg, and Fane, to be to be very transparent, right? Taking a leadership role itself is a very big step that you have done. I have to really applaud you all 3 of you that you have taken this, right? And now the real challenge starts, and you need to learn how to lead, and you need to learn how to do things together with the team. This is going to be a very great experience for all 3 of you. So I'm quite amazed, to be very honest. Within a week, you are able to form a team. Even if it is 2 persons, still you are able to form a team. And I would recommend that you continue doing that from the people who are in this session, and also try to build a team from the people who are outside this session, from your friends, and someone, try to form the team. And that's the skill you as a lead has to develop first. Now, the second step is, okay, you have a team. Now, what do I do with it? Right? So why are we here together? Because we wanted to go through the experience of, learning the practical experience of how companies are built and products are developed and delivered and become successful, right? So that's what we are going to learn together in this test project session. So you will learn how to do this practically, and also you will learn in the side, right, the 30 minutes of the other session, some additional topics that will really help you to achieve that. Plus, you joining all other programs that we are doing will help you to add additional knowledge and bring back here to continue to do that. Right, so that's the baseline. Now you might have a question. Okay, some of them are continuing to form the team, and some of you all have already formed the team. You might have a question, what do I do next? Okay, so
yes, I totally agree with you, but I mean that maybe the model that I choose is not very interesting for the majority of people. So maybe I could choose another model that people really engage.
Yeah, sure. Let's look at that one, right? So which one? See, I wanted you guys to build this like an independent product, right? So let's look at. So Greg, you have chosen job analysis, is it? Or are you planning to do a job analysis or some other idea that you have of your own? Which one are you
Yeah.
planning to do?
Yes, I was planning to do job analysis, but during the week when we meet later, I was going to throw the idea open to other team members to see what we can do together. It is not me, it is the team. So I'll be
Yes.
throwing that open to the team so that we can choose one.
Correct. And remember what I told you, right? These are all the things we have given you as a guidance, right? But not necessarily you have to choose any of these. You can have your own idea as well to build together, right? It's
No.
absolutely fine. Okay. So from that point of view, okay, I got the answer what I need to get from you, Greg. Let's look at Finn's project. Finn, which one are you planning to do with your team?
I'm also in the same in the same boat with what Greg said. I initially chose job analysis, but if the team comes up with something else that they want to do, I think I would go with the team decision. And also, I wanted to ask because someone in my team member, I've forgotten who asked me, said the job analysis module is not in the in the document, the files. We couldn't find the job analysis module there.
In this presentation, this one, right? It's here, right?
No, no. In the Testoper project files, there's a different files, but we couldn't find the one for job analysis.
Which file you're talking about? Let me make sure that we are in sync here. You're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So project documents.
Yeah. Don't worry about these, right? So what we did last year was Joy. There are some people, that we work together, like Joy, Partha, and we were trying to create, do something that is like a pilot, right? Before we started an official program this year. So I think probably we have to archive these documents. So it's, you are brand. Think like you're starting from the blank sheet, right? And you have an idea or you choose an idea and then you start on that, right? Don't worry about all these different things here, except this Testoper project's master planning document that we went through in our previous session. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. So that's good. So Sandra, the same thing for you too, right? You can choose some of the ideas here, or you can have your own idea. Right. So what's more important is, let's see. I see some of us are attending here, but not part of the team. So again, I sincerely recommend those who are not part of any team, please reach out to Sandra. She needs to build her team. So help her to build. Partha, you can help. And who else? Who else are not part of other team? You guys can help to become part of Sandra's team. Now I have another question. Is anyone joined newly today who did not attend the previous session?
I am joining today.
Your good name, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Carlos, but I see I have to change the account here because in my computer is my wife's account. So I'm under Julia Mendoza right now, but my name is Carlos.
So what do you do, Carlos?
I'm an electrical engineer. I've worked long ago I worked in hardware design, and then the last 7 years I've been doing software applications for like specific engineering needs.
Okay.
So no, I've never been part of an actual, let's say, standard software team. So I've been like a software developer in a small team surrounded by hardware designers. So my work has never been. I've never worked in the same standards and software teams, I guess. So that's why one of the reasons I joined this meetup, because I wanted to learn like how it is done in real software team, because since I've been doing software so for the last 7 years, I'm trying to tend to get into that direction in my career. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for joining. And you can send your email address. The Testoper team will set up an account for this Microsoft Teams for you. Then you will
Okay.
be able to collaborate with other people in this call. And if you wanted to know about the session, you can look at the previous sessions videos in the YouTube. Okay.
There's a
So
YouTube channel. Okay.
yeah, basically, this is our fourth session. So basically, what we are trying to do is, for those who have joined newly, we are trying to learn throughout the year to build something together, right? By building small groups. In other words, the companies within this project to build something amazing, right? So that's what we are trying to do. And I know that most of the people are beginners. Don't worry if you are beginners. It is not mandatory to build and deliver something, right? We are not running here school or target or anything. What is important is we have to learn together to get there. That's what is the most important thing. And those, and by doing this, part of the team and things like that, from the Testoper point of view, you will get some kind of a certificate or a letter that you're part of this team and you have, you build this together and so on, right? Definitely, we will help you with that. But it's not about certificate, right? It's about helping you all to continuously learn and become successful. That's what it is all about. Good. Anyone else join newly today other than Carlos? Okay, good. So we are good now. So to the 3 leads, let's restrict ourselves to only 3 leads. 3 leads is good, and let's start to form the team within these 3 leads and build a 3 company, and give a name to those 3 company, and let's create a channel. You can send it to the operations team like Shad or Miki. They will create a dedicated channel for your team, and then you can start collaborating on that. Now let's move on to the next one. So you might think, what do I have to do next, right? Just think like everyone in the team think like you're starting your own company. So what would you do when you start your own company? So first you need to bring people together, and then you have to find what each people's skills are. And now if you wanted to build a company, what do you need? A software company, right? What do you actually need? Or a software product, right? What do you actually need? The first thing that you need is you need someone who can help you with the front end development, right? The GUI and things like that. So you have to identify, do you have that kind of an expertise within your team? If not, you can request someone in your team to develop that expertise. You can choose some of the front end tools, right? It could be anything, Django or anything, right? You can get advice from others or whatever, but you need to build that expertise within your team. Then the second key thing is what the person who is able to do database, right? And you need to identify if someone has a good expertise of doing the database and things like that, right? Because you need a database for any software development, any software that you build. And then the third thing that you need to look at it is, you don't have to really look at design, right? You don't have to really design like a super product and all, right? You're building something together. If it looks good, maybe in the second phase you can make it look good. But to start with, you need a front-end developer and you need a database person and a back-end developer. A back-end developer can be a Node.js developer or a Python developer. So you need that skill. If you can choose any language that you wanted to do, right? But in a nutshell, you need a backend developer. So you need a front-end developer, backend developer, and someone who has a good experience in database. This is the very basic thing, right? Then the next thing that you can think of is, if you're trying to select some project and you wanted to do some project, you wanted to really do something that is using the latest technology, right? For example, AI. Someone mentioned AI, right? So if you decide to do something on AI, then you need to start building your expertise on AI. We have some AI sessions that's coming up, right? The master class is coming up in March. You can join that to build your skills and things like that. So if you decide to do that, then you have to start building some expertise on AI, right? The domain technology and things like that, and how to achieve that. using different programming languages like Python, or using different tools like Scikit or TensorFlow. So you need to choose it. You can choose one for now, right? But you need to choose that. And someone in your team might decide, okay, I wanted to do using blockchain, right? Then you need to start looking at what are all the things that are available for me to learn blockchain, as an example. So these are all the 4 key things that you need to start thinking as a next step. Lead and together with the team. I need a front-end developer, right? Designer, forget it. Even if your GUI looks bad, don't worry, right? You can look at it in the second phase. I need a front-end developer. I need a back-end developer. I need someone who is good in database. Then I need to do something in using AI technology. So I need to build expertise on AI technology or blockchain technology or IoT technology. It doesn't really matter. Like Carlos was saying, he has good experience in hardware. Maybe, Carlos, you can join a team and you guys can come up with a IoT project idea, right? To use with sensors and Arduino and things like that, to build some small product that could be useful for your team or and things like that, right? So you need to think from all these 4 perspectives. And then finally, while developing, it is okay, you can do things, but then when you wanted to deploy somewhere and things like that, then you need some expertise in cloud, right? So you have to develop some expertise around cloud. So now you can, so the point is, as a next step, you as a leads have to identify these 5 things, and then you have to start preparing your team to develop some skills around that. That's your next step. If you ask me, what is your next step? Then when you wanted to develop the skills around that, once you identify that the skills that you wanted to develop, then it is easy to get people who can help you to develop that skill. So there's 2 ways to develop. Like, for example, Partha Kaushik, who is in the call, he is going to take the session on February, the cloud fundamentals, right? You can join that session. And he also has a study group happening on Wednesday, right? If I'm not wrong, you can look it up in Eventbrite. Maybe my days are wrong, but his study group where you're going, people are going to come together to learn the cloud, right? The person that you identify in your team who wants to learn cloud, you can recommend him to go and join these 2 sessions and learn a little bit on the cloud. And someone on the front end, maybe we don't have a course, but you can actually look at through the Google and things like that to learn. Now, for learning purpose, I have been talking to IBM. It is still not concluded, but I will come back to you. So they have a skill center in IBM, right? And I'm asking them to see if we can leverage. It's free for all, right? But if we can leverage that skill center to learn some skills, right? By ourselves. Like, once you identify what you want to build, then you can go and learn that skill if it is available in IBM or if it is available outside somewhere free. You can learn. That's one thing. The other thing is you can get some mentorship from the experts who are already in the Testoper community. Like, for example, if you have some topic you have identified and you wanted to learn them, and you can actually ask that question. Our team can hunt people within our community who has expertise there, and maybe ask them to help you to learn that. Right? So that's going to be your next step. So identify the areas that you wanted to develop the skill, and prepare the people, allocate the people to go behind and learn that skill. That's your next step. And while you're doing that next step, in parallel, you also have to do one more thing. Remember, all 3 leads have not finalized the project that you wanted to do. So brainstorm with your team in parallel while they are building that skills, tools, whatever is required to build the project. Brainstorm in parallel on the idea that you wanted to build, and finalize the idea, at least at a very high level, right? These are the 2 steps that you need to do now. Now, what you need to do after that, when you get there, I will continue to explain you by step, so you can get there. But for now, you already have achieved the first step, which is quite amazing and great job. Kudos to all the 3 leaders. You are able to form a small team or a big team, right? Doesn't really matter. Now continue on that to form the right team. Identify the people who is interested in doing what in those 5 areas, right? And then ask those people to develop those skills, and parallel brainstorm with your team. Feel free to set up a meeting, right? You can use Microsoft Teams to talk anytime that you want, right? In the chat, and talk to people, try to come up with some idea, and then finalize your idea. Do these two things for me, and then we will talk about next step. There is one more thing that I wanted to say. See, when we started this project, we actually said that we wanted to build this whatever the product that you guys are going to build, we wanted to build and give it back to the community, right? That's what we kind of said as only one condition. But then what we kind of decided was, you are free to, it is your decision, okay? If you wanted to give back to the community, you can give back to the community. Or if you believe all the people that you came together and you all wanted to start the company and become grow that company, right? And going to the market and things like that, you can also do that. You're free to choose either path, right? You're not it is not mandatory that you need to give it back to the community. If you give it back, we will really appreciate it for everyone to use for free. But if you wanted to build that as your own company, as a profit company, and you wanted to grow together with the team that you have pulled together, you are free to do that as well. Okay, just keep this in your mind. So that's your next step. Any questions is particularly for leads? Sandra, Fane, and Greg. Any questions, please?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for elaborating the next steps. This is really helpful. But my question is, since we have different skill sets and we're trying to develop new skills, is there a strict time frame where we need to get these skills and learn it? Why I'm asking is because if we've decided the project we want to build, and we don't have the skill sets at that particular time that we've decided the project, the idea. Now, how long will it take for us to build that skill so that we can create the projects? So
Yeah.
is there a fixed time or not? That's what I'm asking.
Well, you have to think like this. Nobody is born with the skills, okay? And nobody is going to become master on the skills. This is the reality, fact of the life. So normally what happens is, right, while you are building the skills, you can use this project as a practical example to implement that skills and continue building. So try to think from the mindset point of view, not finish to start, right, but start to start. You understand, Greg, what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks.
You can, like for example, right, if you decided in the GUI you want 4 text box as an example in the process, right? Then you can always say, okay, look at the book, how to create a text box and practically create a text box, right? And you learn together while you learn while you're building the product. You don't have to build the product only after learning. That never happens in the real world. Trust me.
Yep.
Anybody and everybody learns and do. That's the only way you become expert. You will never. It is never like, okay, and then you're starting to do. It never happens like that in industry. And nowadays it's so agile. So many new things are coming. While you're building, you learn and build. You learn and build. That's how things move forward.
Thanks.
Okay, so that's the mindset you need to have. My goal, Testoper, end of the day, our goal is not to train you on different things, right? Our goal is to really help you with your thinking process, so you can change your mindset to a continuous learner and do things and make miracles, right? So that's what, and advance in whatever that you're trying to do. And that's my focus of this session. And I'll continue to support this throughout the year. Wherever you guys have a problem, we will find solution, and we will find the right expert to come in to help, and whatever that we will continue this journey. Okay.
Okay.
Any
thanks.
other questions from leads? Okay, all good. So you have crossed your first step, team forming, and of course some more things to go there. Start planning your organization's skill development requirement, right? And then in parallel, start thinking about the idea that you wanted to build together. You build the idea and give it back to the community people to benefit, or you build the idea and you start your own company. It's completely up to your team and your team's decision. Okay. Perfect. Now let's jump into learning, right? We are 8 minutes late. So let's learn something new. Before I start, final question. Any questions from anyone?
Hi, Kader. I have one question.
Yes, Hetal, go ahead.
Yeah. Before we go ahead and decide what technologies we want to use for our project, isn't it required to finalize business requirements? Because what first of all, what we need to know is what actually our requirements are, right?
Correct. But whichever requirement, Hetal, that you are going to have, right? You need
Mm-hmm.
a front-end expertise. You need a database expertise. You need a back-end expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, yeah, you can say chicken and egg, right? I understand where you are coming from. But, it's always good to kind of think in a more generalized way. Okay, any software product I'm going to build, right? I need a front-end expertise. Let's go and look at which front-end is the latest front-end that's available and easy to learn and easy to use, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
there tools that, and then start building on that in parallel will really help, and then database, you might choose, okay, which database do I want to learn? Maybe, Cassandra, MongoDB, a lot of now NoSQL database are becoming really very famous. So let me choose this to do, right? And also it's free,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the back end, okay, let me do Python, let me do Node.js, for example, right? So whichever projects that you're going to do, most of the time, right? The front end, back end, and database, maybe the different tools and different languages you have to pick and choose, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that expertise is required, nevertheless. But yes, you are correct. The technology expertise like blockchain, AI, and those things are dependent to the requirement that you're going to have. But again, you can have some kind of an understanding even now. Hey, I wanted to build a product which is going to have a lot of data and I need to do analytics and AI on top of that. If you already have something like that and you wanted to build an idea around that, you can already start building an AI expertise, right? And even
Mm-hmm.
if you don't use that AI expertise, it's fine, right? And then you learn something, and then depending upon when the business requirement is there, then you can say, okay, I don't want AI, I need a blockchain. Then you can start learning blockchain. But starting to learn something from the day one is always good. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, good. So now let's learn something together, right? 20 minutes we have. Let's continue learning something together. And you will see what I actually mean, while we continue to learn. Okay, let's go quickly here. Quick refresher.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, so I just want to know, can we like leave somewhere questions if we still have them? If I don't want to spend your the time now that you have to present.
Yes, you can type the question in that for the channel, right? I'm actually all the time I'm monitoring and I'm looking at if you guys need some help or any question. Like for example, you can directly send a message to me, or the better is actually to put it in the common channel. So in the Testoper project general, you click here new conversation and you can put your question. So that your question is answered here, everyone looks at it. Maybe the same question everyone has.
Okay, yeah, I think I have to set up things here first. Who
Yes.
do I have to contact to
So
set up
two
my
things,
account?
two ways. There is a WhatsApp link. I'm pretty sure it has been already posted in the chat here. If not, operations. Oh, it's here, right here. I can actually copy and post it here. So
Well,
you can join this WhatsApp group, and in the WhatsApp group you can provide your name, email ID, and things like that. Then your account will be set up by the Testoper volunteers, operation team volunteers.
yeah.
Remember,
Well,
yeah.
I am in the WhatsApp group. I think this is the test over something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Testoper projects WhatsApp group, right?
Okay.
So you can join that and you can give the name and they will give you all the instructions to create an account.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then don't ask questions and all for WhatsApp. WhatsApp is for the emergency reason. For example, some reason we need to cancel the session and things like that. But all the conversation, please keep it to the Microsoft Teams. I
All
kindly.
right. Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's quickly learn something, right? Today. So just a refresher, we learned together the different ecosystems of Testoper, what is skills, innovation, and all these things we learned because we wanted to speak the same language. So we learned this together. And then we continued on understanding what is a product. We all learned together what is a product. Why we learn what is a product? Because that's what we are building together. So we learned what is a product in our last session. We learned what is product line in our last session, which is nothing but a group of products. And we also learned what is product portfolio in our last session. Then we learned services. So what is the services? So normally in the product world, remember this, that when you build a product, right, you can get the product to the hands of your customers in multiple ways, right? One good example that I can give you is you can put the product in the cloud and you can create a product like a software as a service product, right? So that means what? You'll have to have a login and password and probably buy a license from you, and they can actually get the benefit of the product directly from the cloud, right? As a software as a service product. Or you can build a product that you wanted to install it in their laptop. So you need to give them an instruction to install it in the laptop and things like that. And these are all some of the simple products. But when you look at a complex product, right, then what happens is you have to take your product and you have to deploy them in the customer premises, setting up the cloud for them, private cloud for them, because they don't want to put it in the public cloud. So they want to set up a private cloud, and then on that you wanted to put your product and make sure it's working. So that is the one service, right? So the services, when you talk about services, there are different types of services that exist today in the market. I'll give you some examples, right? When you have a product and you go and deliver that product to a customer, and it takes 2 or 3 days to set up all your product because it's a very complex product or whatever, so that your customers can start using it in their company, right? So when you go and deliver, that is called as a service, and normally that service is called as a delivery services, right? And then after delivering, what happens is you can go and the customer will come and say, hey, I need some additional feature, additional customization to be done on this project, or additional proprietary features to be developed on this project. Then you as a company owner, what you will do is you'll come and think, okay, I have a customer, he is asking me to develop a feature, but can I, is this feature is resellable to all other customers that I have? If it is, it makes sense. I implement it, because I implement once, I sell it to 50 customers. But if a customer comes and asks me a feature which is only used for him, and I cannot sell that feature to anyone else, then it becomes a proprietary feature for that customer A. And you building that feature and is not going to really help you to sell it to another 49 customers of yours. So in that case, you might charge your end customers lots of money to build that only for him. And normally that services is called as a value added services, right? So you're adding more value on top of that. And sometimes it's not a proprietary features, but it's like a small customization, small things. Then it is sometimes you refer that as a customization services. And if you're trying to manage everything for your customer says, I don't care, you come to my company, you set up everything and you manage everything. I and my employee just will use your product. We don't care how that managing anything about that product or the infrastructure, nothing. You take care of everything. Then that falls under managed services. And if they ask you to come and, you know what, I wanted you to integrate whatever that your product is with 5 other products that I have in my company, so it all works together, then it becomes a system integration services. So I can go on and on and on. And sometimes the customer can come and say, hey, look at my company and tell me which product is best for me. Analyze my company and tell me which product is best for me for this particular problem. Then you are doing a service which is called as a business consulting services. So like that, there are a number of different services a company can do, whether it is a product company or a service company, right? Some of you, there are a lot of service companies out there, right? Like TCS, Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Infosys, Amdocs. There's so many service companies that are out there, right? So a product company or a service company, it doesn't really matter, right? But the customers might come to you to ask, these are all the different services you need to do. But sometimes you might have heard a word called professional services. The definition of professional services is on demand, right? And it has a definite scope. Then you normally call it as a professional services. If you don't know any scope and you have to work together with the customer to evolve the scope and finish the project that you need to finish, but at the given point of time, you don't know when it is going to finish, then it's not a professional services. It's sometimes called as a managed services because it continues forever. So the point here is that you can sell the product as it is without any services, or you have to sell the product with lots of different services to your end customer. And it depends on how you are building the product. You will become a pure product company, or you will become a product plus service provider company. Sometimes the people who provides products and services together, they call it as a solutions, right? The company provides solutions. I provide solutions to solve competency issues in any company, right? That means, what does it mean? It means you have a product and also you have some services that you wanted to customize on top of the product to help that company to develop their, let's say, upskill their employees, or let's say do the, the e-commerce or something, right? Whatever it is. So these are all the terms that are very important for you to understand. Product, it's pretty clear what it is. Services, it's pretty clear what it is. When products and services together that you bring to a customer and you solve a particular use case for that customer, then it becomes a solution. Right? Now I'm introducing a new word which is called as a use case, right? So let's think about an example for a use case. I wanted to go to a grocery shop, right? And I wanted to take my product that I built and my services that I have together with the product and deploy my product in that particular grocery store to solve a problem, which is inventory problem, right? If some of the items stock goes down, it has to automatically alert the grocery that it is going down. You pre-order it so you can bring additional because it's selling fast. So that's a use case, right? You're trying to solve a particular problem for that customer. So you're bringing your product and services together to provide a solution. And the solution is to solve a particular use case. And the use case is the inventory problem mitigation for that company. So these are all some of the keywords that you need to really know. And finally, I wanted to introduce another keyword, which is called as a platform. So if you remember in our previous sessions, we talked about tools and frameworks, right? Tools and frameworks, software product, open source used to carry out particular function or that aids in accomplishing that task, right? So the platform is close to that. I'll give you an example. Like IBM or Microsoft have something called as an IoT platform. They also have something called as an AI platform. So what does it mean? It means that you don't need to do everything from scratch. If you learn their platform, a lot of things they take care of for you behind the scene. You have to learn how to use their platform, and you have an idea, and you need to know how to use their platforms, what kind of an APIs are available in that platform, and implement your workflow or a logic using that platform. Everything else will be taken care of by them. Right? It's the same thing like tools and frameworks, right? I'll give you another example, right? In the olden days, we used to write program using ones and zeros or sometimes assembly level language programming into the processors. Now we don't do that, right? People used to, after that, people used to do only C. They don't care about writing it in ones and zeros in assembly language because C language is converted into an assembly language and 1 and zeros, and it worked. So you were hidden, you were abstracted from the details of ones and zeros and assembly language. Then what happens? Visual C++ came. Then what happened? All those new tools, frameworks, and everything came. So now you don't have to really do anything from the scratch, right? If you know all those tools and frameworks and the platforms that are available out there, then it is easy path for you to implement it. The product that you wanted to build, right? So you should also, when you're building your skill sets within your company, you should also look at, okay, in the front end, if there is any platform that is already available, or if there is any framework or tools that are already available. So I don't have to write an HTML code with the open slash and backslash. I can just drag and drop or call some APIs to build my front end GUI easily. Right? So that should be your thinking process, and that's what the platform is all about. Now I'll stop here. Any questions so far? All good?
Sorry?
Any questions? Any comments?
Yeah. Hi. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead if you have any questions.
Sorry. This is not the first time you have done this. I mean, do you do this every year?
Sorry?
Do you do these projects and organizing teams every year or every, like, often?
Yeah, I mean, this is a program, right? So now we are forming 3 teams, and after that, additional people might join and they form 4th team, 5th team, and it's up to that team to complete the project, when they wanted to complete the project, right? But we will help them throughout to become successful. That's what we do.
So based on your experience or previous experiences, is this something that requires like full-time, or how much effort or time just to know what I'm getting into?
Well, it's up to you, right? Completely, right? This is not a company where you need to, you have a deadline to finish it, no?
Okay.
It is you want to learn, and you are coming together with people, and you wanted to learn together and build something, right? So that's what it is all about.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to our session here. Any questions so far? No. Okay. So now what I wanted to do is I wanted to introduce you guys, because we are starting from the product. I wanted to introduce you guys about product management. Why? Because whatever that I'm going to explain about product management will all be practically applicable for you when you are building your product, because you are going to manage your product, right? So that means you need to understand how to manage your product, and that's nothing but product management, right? So that's what I'm going to explain a little bit. And today I will try to finish this slide, and in our next session I will talk about the product management life cycle. So this will help you with some of the answers that you need to do as next step, right? So today we talked about forming the team, allocating the team to build the right expertise, and thinking about an idea, right? But now, okay, you're thinking about an idea. Now, what do I do from idea all the way to launching, and then continuing to succeed in the product, whatever that I'm launching? Is called as the complete product management life cycle. So I will explain you this. This will also give you a good guidance as to, from the team, from the idea, what are all the different things I need to do end to end, at least at a very high level. But every topic within that has its own details. We will go through that, and I'll explain you. By end of this year, every 30 minutes that you start to learn from this particular session, by end of this year, I can tell you, you will have so much of knowledge to really start your own team, come up with your own idea, and build your own company. That's what you will end up in doing. And why we are doing this particularly is because if we are able to create more number of entrepreneurs and thinking and experts, you guys will become big, and you will support Testoper, you will support the economy of the government, and many benefits and so on. So these are the 2 things that we will be learning in our next session. Now let's quickly understand what is some definitions for today. Okay, so let's start with simple one. What is a management? So if you go to the dictionary, this is what you would actually see. The people in charge of running a company or organization regarded collectively. This is what you actually see. So what does it mean? Use the, check this word, people in charge. That's the most important thing. The management is something, it's a system. It comprises of the people who are responsible to do certain things and make it success. So that's what is the management is all about. Now, if you map that management to answer your question, what is a product management? It is nothing but the person or the people who are responsible to take charge, or responsible to manage the product. That's what is the product management is all about. Now, when I say manage the product, what does it mean? It's not building the product. It's not delivering the product. It's lot more things, right? From the idea all the way to the end, the complete management of the product. Not only from the point of view of just delivering the product, but also from the point of view of what is the business for that product? Who is going to use that product? Who is going to benefit that product? How am I going to create an investment to hire resources to do that product? If I'm doing a new feature in the product, is it going to bring me more money, or is it just I'm doing it for to keep my customer happy? And if so, how do I pay my bills? There are so many things. That's why I used a word here called as the business management. The business management of the product is nothing but a product management. Now, if you're managing a product, then it is a product management. If you're managing the product line, in some companies they call it as a product line management. If you're managing the portfolio, they'll call it as a portfolio management. But we already know what's the definition of product line, and product portfolio. So that's what the product management is all about. And if you go into every single company, right, you will actually see a product management team. Sometimes it's called as a business unit. And that particular product management team is responsible for the holistic management of the product. That includes business management, market management, customer management, competitive management, finance management, so many things. And I will teach you all these different aspects as we continue to move forward with this session. So that particular team is responsible. And normally, if you take any company like a startup or whatever, right? There is a CEO, and actually what is he doing? He's actually trying, if that startup has only one product, by definition, he's actually a product manager for that particular one product and happen to be a CEO of that company. So now if you go to a big company, right, who has multiple products, then you have multiple product managers managing multiple products. And sometimes one product manager manages 3 products. And sometimes he is called as product line manager, right? Or product portfolio manager. So these are all some of the designations that you would actually see. So a product manager, see, the management is all about taking responsibility to run the company from holistically. Product management is nothing but running the product business holistically. And who is responsible for running the product management? The holistic business management within a company, the person name is a product manager. ER, when it completes, any word ends with ER, it represents to a person, right? Product manager is a person, right? He is responsible individual in the product management who is again responsible for the holistic management of that particular product. He is responsible to manage, meaning run it successfully. There is another thing that I wanted to say here is sometimes it's important to understand the difference between the product life cycle and the project life cycle. Normally I wanted to do this like a conversation session where I ask questions, you guys answer, because today it was the time a little bit went on. I wanted to hurry up and finish this. Apologies, I didn't make it like a more interactive session today. but I will ask all these questions what we discussed in our next session. Okay, so the product manager manages the product, and it's important to understand the difference between the product lifecycle and the project lifecycle. And the difference is the project lifecycle has a definite start and definite end, right? But the product lifecycle is nothing but the product lifecycle starts when you started having an idea, right? Sandra, Fane, and Greg. When you start to have the idea, that from that time the product lifecycle starts, and it continues as long as you guys decide, well, I don't want to deal with this. I wanted to retire this product. It continues that. So you three are trying to form a team and trying to build something, right? If that particular product becomes successful for next 5 years, before you scrap that product and move on to another product in your company to build, the life cycle is that 5 years. So it's important to understand the difference between the project life cycle and the product life cycle. And a product manager is responsible for a holistic management of the product. And he normally works in the product management department. And he is no less than a CEO because he is holistically managing the product from the finance to all other aspects. I will talk about it and I will help you guys to understand when I say all other aspects in our future sessions. So that's what is the product manager. Now, I just wrote it down here just for your understanding. You can always go to the slide, you know where the slide is, open it to understand a little bit more. So if you look at what is the responsibility of the product manager, in other words, the CEO, is you have to lead and influence your team. Remember in the starting of the call, I said, you have to, it's a challenge to keep the team together. And you need to figure out a way how to lead the team, how to influence the team, to keep it together, to achieve what you wanted to achieve together as a team. And sometimes today you are working normally with your team, right? Which is okay. But if you work in a company, you work with finance department, you work with ordering department, you work with marketing department to market your product, you work with sales department to sell your product. So you have to have a skill of cross-functional teaming. That means you need to have a skill of little bit of sales, little bit of marketing, little bit of, otherwise you cannot holistically manage a product. A CEO, if he does not have a experience in finance, how can he be a CEO? How can he write a P&L? How can he talk about his company's profitability? If he does not have an HR knowledge, how can he have a right people and guide the HR team? So you'd see the mini CEO and general managers have to have a holistic knowledge of lot many things. And then only you can do the cross-functional teaming. That's very important. You have to make decisions at the right time. You have to have a knowledge on financial planning and analysis. You have to understand the industry and competition. You need to identify what all the idea that you have, which target customers are going to be using that idea. You have to identify when I build this product, how much investment is required. And when the product is available, the first MVP, how much sale I'm going to get. In next 3 years, how many sale I'm going to get. When I'm going to get a return on investment, recover all my investment. When I'm going to become profitable, forecasting, marketing. And you have to own the complete product life cycle for the 5 years that I talked about, from the concept to the retirement. So today's session, I wanted to stop here, but the point I wanted to say here is what you have learned is in parallel to forming the team and coming up with an idea and all those things, what you have learned so far is you have understood what is a product and what are all the different things that surrounds that product, like services, solutions, and platform. You understood the definition of all these things, and you understood the definition of what is a skill, what is tools and frameworks, what are all different knowledge, and you understood all those definitions. And you understood what is the product management in an organization, sometimes called as a business unit management. You understood within that organization, the person who is responsible for, who is a product manager. And he is no less than a mini CEO, like general manager, who has to understand completely a lot of things. And some of the things, what are all that he needs to understand is something that I explained towards the end. So this is what you have understood so far. So what does it mean? You've understood so far. What does it mean in practice? You have to start thinking like this. When you're building a team, when you're bringing the people together, and you have to start in leading and influencing your team, right? You need to start thinking about all these things that I have put down here. Some may not be applicable now. Cross-functional teaming may not be applicable now. Making decisions is applicable now where you are today. Financial planning is not applicable. Accessing industry and competition is very, very applicable. Why? Because when you're coming with an idea, you don't want to come up with an idea where you have 50 people already have a products in that for that idea. You don't want. So it is applicable for that. Market segmentation. You need to know when you come up with an idea, whom am I going to go behind? Youths, women, indigenous, or is it like people of 5 to 10 years or 20, 30 years or 60 to 70 years? You need to know. Forecasting may be not applicable for you. Marketing may be not applicable for you. So at least you need to start thinking about 3 points, especially the leaders and the team already are together. In leading and influencing, making decision, accessing the industry and competition, market segmentation and targeting. These are the 4 things that you need to talk about. And after I complete the product management lifecycle session in our next session, I will pick up all these topics and I will help you to learn all these things so you can start correlating what you are learning to what product you are going to do and do in parallel, and you continue to evolve and go through the step. And I will stop here. For any questions anybody has, please. Was it useful today? You all learned something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Guys, don't
Yeah.
worry. If everyone
Yes.
who already knows all these things, they won't come to this session because they think that they know everything, right? And you don't have to know everything to be in this session. This session is for all of us to learn together throughout the year, and that's what it is. So we will learn together, and I'm glad that you heard, you felt useful. And I can tell you that every 30 minutes that you will spend with me throughout, you will learn a lot of things based on my experience. And if I run out of my training sessions, I will bring more experience to really teach you and get you there. Okay. And I'm looking forward to cooperate with IBM. If IBM comes in, then we can get some free platforms and we can learn their platforms and we can learn from their skill center and build on the idea whatever that we have to evolve that as a product. So having said that, I will not take a minute more. 10 minutes already delayed. I will let you all to go and spend time with your family and have a wonderful weekend. And I'm looking forward to complete attendance, this 20 people in our next session to learn together. And I'm also looking forward to see more people join the team, and those who did not participate today but are part of the team, make sure the leads get them here because they can learn, right, practically, and we'll go from there. Take care, guys. Have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, Kada. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.